Episode 382. It didn't come as a huge surprise to Yakshu that Tyrannical Ambition had developed their own dungeon strategy. With that kind of hint on how to approach it, no matter your skill level, you'd probably want to give it a shot. After all, one side is free, while the other costs a fortune in materials. It wasn't just Tyrannical Ambition. Even when he pitched the idea to Misty Rain's leader, Misty Rain Kang Kang, the guy just gave a vague, non-committal laugh, essentially saying he didn't really need it for now. Yeshu understood perfectly, but he didn't call them out on it. Even if those two guilds figured out the strategy on their own, it would just mean fewer clients for him. It wouldn't create any competition. After all, this was a secret weapon for competing for dungeon records. If you had it, you'd keep it hidden, not share it with other guilds. That would just be shooting yourself in the foot, creating your own competition. Both guilds that had previously purchased Yakshu's guides turned down his new one. Indifferent, he wasn't bothered in the slightest, and calmly moved on to a third guild.
Another dungeon guide?
After receiving the message from Lord Grimm, Blue River immediately replied,
"That's right. You missed out last time. Don't let this chance slip away again."
Thoughtful. Hey, about that Misty Rain record in Line Canyon last time. Was it because they used that guide?
Of course.
What's the price?
As soon as Blue River asked, a list of materials instantly appeared before his eyes. Blue River gave it a quick scan.
Look, I'm not just saying this, but right now on the 10th server, there's probably not a single guild that could gather all the items on this list by themselves.
This time, the list contained nothing from dungeons below One Line Gorge. Every single item was a rare material from the Blazing Forest dungeon, but the guilds had only been farming the Blazing Forest for a couple of days, so they really hadn't gathered much of the material yet.
That's not a problem. We're not strangers here. We can trust each other.
Yeshu's reply made it clear. We'll talk when there's something to talk about. Of course, trusting Blue River wasn't just because of Blue Brook Guild's reputation. Last time, when dungeon records were being sold, Blue River had already made a deal with Tyrannical Ambition. He gave up the chance to take the One Line Canyon dungeon record for himself. Clearly, he was a man of principle. Even when his own guild desperately needed a record to salvage its reputation, he didn't use the excuse of no time for trivialities to break his word. A person like that is definitely trustworthy.
Alright, since you're comfortable with it, then it's settled. Once the materials are ready, I'll hand them over to you right away. I'll take a copy of the guide.
Send me an email address. I'll send it to you.
After sending the email address, Blue River asked,
Mind if I ask, how many guilds have you already sold this guide to?
He was clearly a man who understood the game, and he wasn't naive about it. He had already figured out the value and purpose of this strategy guide the last time around. In any case, there's no reason to sell it to just one guild. This strategy guide isn't a guarantee of a record. It's just a ticket to compete for one. At its core, the dungeon records for the 10th server were once again firmly in Lord Grimm's grasp. But Blue River already knew Lord Grimm's identity. He was convinced and had nothing to say.
For now, it's just you guys.
What about the possibility of us buying exclusive rights to it?
Blue River knew it was a long shot, but he couldn't help pointing it out. If this guide went up for sale, over a dozen guilds backed by professional clubs would jump at it. And the regular player-run guilds, they'd probably be interested too. If you want an exclusive buyout, the price would likely need to be 10, maybe even 20 times higher. If any single guild had to shoulder that cost alone, it would hardly be worth the price.
Amused an exclusive buyout?
Yakshu paused for a moment.
I'll go check the mail.
Blue River saw it and wisely didn't say anything more. But then Lord Grimm sent over another message, containing a brand new list.
For a buyout, this is the price.
Blue River was taken aback, then surprised quickly looked over. He realized the price he'd thought was absolutely impossible to buy out didn't actually seem that difficult. Compared to the previous list, this buyout price just seems to have added a few more items. In terms of pure value, it's not 10 or 20 times more. It's barely double the original price. That makes it a real bargain then.
No way?
Blue River scrolled down, expecting more content, but that was it. No follow-up.
There's another message?
Blue River waited a moment longer, and sure enough, a new message flashed. He clicked it open with a sense of relief, only to find Lord Grimm asking, "So, what's the verdict?"
That's it?
Blue River hesitated, not because the price was too high, but because it was too low. It's a tough world out there. When the price is high, You can't bear to part with the coin, you can't afford it. But when it's low, you start wondering if this windfall is just a trap waiting to swallow you whole. Although the other party had placed a great deal of trust in him, and Blue River truly wanted to return the favor, he was a guild leader. He had a responsibility to his guild. He wasn't just managing his own personal feelings here. He needed to be rational, not emotional.
Could I have a moment to think it over?
Alright, how long?
Is one day okay?
Sure.
How could Yakshu not know what Blue River was thinking? Thoughtful. Well, if we're talking a buyout, that depends entirely on the value of this strategy. Blue River will likely test this strategy immediately, especially after midnight, when the dungeon attempts reset. Then it's time for a real trial run on the 10th server. If they could actually set a record that left everyone else in the dust, then what they'd be buying outright wouldn't be the strategy guide, it would be the record itself. Whether the guide could help Misty Rain secure the top spot was something Yishu couldn't say for sure. After all, both Tyrannical Ambition and Misty Rain had already grasped the core idea and were starting to develop their own strategies. What form their strategies would ultimately take, even Yakshu couldn't predict. But on one point, Yushu could be absolutely certain. The guides produced by Tyrannical Ambition and Misty Rain Tower could only ever match the level of his own. They could never surpass it, because Yu believed he had already achieved perfection. Combat between people has no true limit, as humans can always improve and change. But dungeons are system-generated. Even with some randomness, it's confined to a fixed range. An absolute limit exists. As long as you push it to the limit, there's no way they can surpass you.
Just waiting for midnight now.
Yeshu thought to himself, then went right back to his game.